slightly other topic. I'm going to talk about things in society that affect me, that's in my sphere, that makes me feel like I am up against a wall, that I'm never going to find my level of care or my level of comfort because of rules, sweeping rules that are put in place that completely are against what I need for survival. Okay, I'm gonna make a list here. One of them is cellular networks. It's most advantageous for me to purchase an unlocked phone rather than paying a cell phone company a payment every month on top of my cell phone payment. And then after 4 years, doing a trade-in, especially with Samsung. They usually have good trade-in programs where I can kind of get half my cost back in buying my newest Galaxy phone. So I got distracted by something else. Anyway, okay, so that's one of them, and another one is Cannabis. Well, actually, I'm going to go back to the cell phone one. Neurodivergent brain. But I use Consumer Cellular for my monthly plan because they work with a lot of low-income people. And I don't have AARP, but if I did, if I was over 65, I wish they would extend that to disabled people. And that's another one. A lot of programs are only for the elderly who are on Medicare, but I am disabled and on Medicare. And I go to a grocery store during senior day, and I'm like, well, I actually receive less per month than most seniors because I can't double dip. I don't have a pension and a 401k and my disability, or I'm not a veteran with disability, I'm just disabled, but I have a Medicare card. Why can't I just use this and get a senior discount too? I'm in a wheelchair. How is that not? That's another one that pisses me off. And then another one is with the cellular thing. I live right on the Canadian border, and yet I can't use my cell phone, and I can't bring my cannabis with me across the border. And I have family across the border and friends across the border and possible dates across the border. It's 15 miles north of me, and yet I can't take my medication with me. And this is my vaporizer is the only way that I can really absorb cannabis in a healthy way. I can't do edibles. If I do edibles, I'll be flat on my ass for like 10 hours. That's not productive. And I can't smoke it with a bong, so I can't go and buy a joint across the border and just smoke it because that burns all the terpenes off, and I need the terpenes to get my benefits from them. In fact, I will go to the cannabis place and look up the terpenes. It says things like, oh, here we go, like refreshing, calm, euphoric, focus. So I combine the ones that work for me. I have my nighttime one and my daytime one, because this one is for pain relief and rest, and this one is how I'm able to have this conversation right now. Aha. But I can't take this across the border. And it doesn't matter if it's medical or not. And that's another thing is I thought, hey, if I get a medical cannabis card, then I'll be able to take this with me as my medication for my impairments. That doesn't work either because it's just ridiculous. So I can't cross the border for very long. I can't go there and stay the night because I need this to sleep. And it's like, I can take narcotics across the border, but I can't take my cannabis across the border. Which is more harmful, cannabis or narcotics? I can traffic narcotics. I can't really Who's going to want my cannabis? They have cannabis there. Things like this piss me off. And these sweeping decisions that affect everybody. They really do. And they make life more difficult for me. And another thing is, even if I wanted a medical cannabis card, I have to use the clinic that I use, because the clinic that I use has the cheapest pharmacy. I can get my birth control for $10 a month at my pharmacy. If I go to Rite Aid, it's $300. So I'm tied to this pharmacy, but I cannot use any doctor for this pharmacy. It has to be this one clinic. But this one clinic doesn't allow me to have medical cannabis. So I'm paying full price for my cannabis, even though my doctor acknowledges it as medical. She goes, I want to prescribe this for you as your medical medication, but because this clinic has this government hang up, I am not allowed to do that as your primary care doctor. And it just, excuse me? Even though this is directly for my impairments. So that pisses me off. And there's other things too. Like, the fact that I physically have to go to my doctor in order to get treatment, when I could just do it here. My therapist is on Zoom. Why can't my doctor also be on Zoom? My doctor barely touches me. In fact, she doesn't touch me. The CMA comes in and does my BP and vitals, and that's all they do. So why do I even need to be there? My blood pressure rarely fluctuates. It's usually between 100 on the between 98 and 100 on the systolic, and 48 to 68 on the diastolic. It never changes. So why can't you just take my word for it? Or hell, I can use a BP monitor at home and just hold the screen up and be like, hey, you got this? Good. And you can just do my respirations from here. I was a CNA. I know how this works. It's basic shit. Just our whole system doesn't work, especially if you're autistic and ADHD, because of all the work it takes to go anywhere. I feel like it takes years off of my life to do what a neurotypical can do. Anyway. Things that make me go boom. But I'm in a better mood because I got my cannabis. And by the way, I love this stuff. It's from Western Cultured. I got the Space Princess. It's backwards, so I can't like hold it up. But it's really, really good, and it really helps me function. It helps me focus so I don't bounce around quite as much. But yeah, I'm annoyed. So, but there's other things, but those are my biggies. Is just the sweeping moves that people make that completely obliterate my ability to function as a person in society. And these are the very same people that go, well, why can't you work? It's like, well, I maybe could be able to work a few hours a day if I can bring my cannabis with me, if I was able to stim, if I could have multiple breaks, if I can work for 10 minutes and then take a break for 10 minutes, back and forth, and my wheelchair can come with me, and I could do all that and maybe have a companion animal with me at the same time, then yes, I'm able to work. But that's not capitalism, right? So here I am on benefits, so sorry, with my cannabis, with my knitting. I have to be stimming. Something has to be in my hands at all times. And that is a fucking barrier. And so here I am at home alone when everyone else is working and on their merry way, and I am alone by myself. And this seems like a lot of fun for people, but the reason I'm on camera all the time is because I'm lonely. And because other people don't seem to be talking about this on YouTube. So I'm posting it. No one follows it, but I'm posting it because someone somewhere will resonate with this. Anyway.